and to finish the Electoral College thing, if a state like, say, Texas goes for the Republicans, goes entirely for Donald Trump, when the Electoral College in Texas meets, there's not a single Democrat in the room. It's all Republicans. And then they cast their votes for the Electoral College. So that doubles the probability that there's not going to be any change. So just for the record, just so everybody knows, so we can set that aside. Now, Charles, to you. What's up?
Oh, great. No problem. And I'm glad you told me this is different than what I was going to say about the incident last night. But, you know, even with our Indian brothers and sisters, in fact, I think, you know, what we should do is if we can try to make more people to get out there and show them support, I think that's going to help them too. That's going to help motivate them and also bring more and more, recognition of what they're going through. But I called in today and I was upset by hearing that Donald Trump got mad at Alec Baldwin and was making these tweets. He thought that Alec Baldwin was picking at him. And this, to me, is the immaturity of this man. And second of all, what I'm really scared of, though, is that Democrats are gonna, find some kind of way to be lock and step with him to switch over our votes to stuff that he wants done. And I think this is going to be the downfall of making this Trump presidency last. Yeah. If we're going to oppose him, which I think we need to do from the very onset, I don't want to hear Chuck Schumer, with no type of strategy. No, they don't have the only strategy they have for us for the last 8 years. So many people voted for Barack Obama to come in, and they disrespected this president by, putting up every roadblock. And it wasn't just the president that they were disrespecting. They were disrespecting his voters, the people that needed jobs, the people that was worried about their health care. We got to fight. And if we don't fight, and we got to put a light on Democrats. I don't care if you're in the Senate or you're in the House of Representatives. If you don't vote against this guy, we're going to get you out. And that's the mentality that we have to have as Democrats, because they're planning on rolling over us. If Donald Trump gets mad at Alec Baldwin on a Saturday night, I just feel for the rest of us.
Charles, you raised 2 points here, and I think that they're actually separate issues, and I'd like to split them out if I can. The first is, Donald Trump tweeting about Alec Baldwin and tweeting about Hamilton. The Hamilton tweet is actually more troubling because it's consistent with his proclamation that he basically wants to do away with the First Amendment. He wants to go with a British-style system where it's very easy for elected officials to sue people who criticize them for libel. And, that's troubling. But his tweet about Saturday Night Live, that's actually, in my opinion, genius. And it may be coming out of a thin skin and, Donald's weird, peculiar personality disorders. I'd love to get Dr. Justin Frank back on the program to talk about that. Trump on the couch. He wrote Obama on the couch and Bush on the couch. But, whether it's coming out of a psychopathology or whether it's, coming out of Steve Bannon and very slick thinking, what it did was it provided the media with a new shiny thing to chase and thus not discuss, which they just don't want to ever do, the actual issues. Like Trump says he wants to put $1 trillion into infrastructure. Well, how's he going to do that? He's going to raise it in the private sector. Well, what does that mean? It means that he's going to privatize all our roads and bridges. You're going to have to pay toll everywhere you go, anytime you go, and some billionaire is going to make money off it. So, the Trump reality show, what has happened is that the networks have signed a 4-year deal with Donald Trump for the nation's biggest and what will be, I predict, the most profitable for the networks reality show in the history of television. And it's going to be called, Trumpland or something like that. And it's not good for America, as Les Moonves said, but it's going to be very good for CBS. So that's the first thing. So to that extent, We have to discourage the media from paying attention to those kind of things and chasing and encourage the media, although I don't think it's ever going to happen because the corporate media is as in bed with the same people as Trump is and the Republican Party. I mean, they're all basically, you know, you look at these interlocking boards of directors and everything, you know, power knows power. The other thing, though, that you raised is the strategy that Democrats use to take on Trump. And if what Chuck Schumer is doing, and he's pretty much said out loud that this is what he's doing, if what he's doing is he's saying, oh, you want an infrastructure program? Cool. If you're willing to raise taxes on rich people and actually pay for it, we'll work with you on that. You want to, repeal and replace Obamacare? Cool. If you've got a better proposal, we're willing to listen to it. And then when Trump's proposals get laid out, then the Democrats can say, because they now have some credibility in the media and hopefully will get covered, they can say, wait a minute, that's not what we were talking about. This isn't something we can support, and this is why. And so, the obstruction, and by the way, the Republicans have been doing this for 8 years with Obama. They haven't been just filibustering everything he does. They have not only filibustered it, but the Heritage Foundation, the Cato Institute, the American Enterprise Institute, the Competitive Enterprise Institute, all of these right-wing petro-billionaire-funded organizations, think tanks, have provided position papers and rationales for every single one of these obstructive votes. And the Republicans, you write to your Republican member of Congress, and they will send you back a letter that says, here's why I voted against Obama's fill in the blank. And so it sounds like every single vote is rational, when in fact, when you look at them from 30,000 feet, you see that the whole thing is 8 years of total mindless obstruction. So I think that my guess is, Charles, and we won't know for a couple of months until we see how this plays out, but my guess is that Chuck Schumer is a master strategist, and what he is lining up here is obstruction of the Trump agenda in a way that's not going to cause the Democrats to be as horribly criticized as the Republicans were, to the point that, Congress has an approval rating of 9% or something like that. And it's purely because, of Republican obstruction. If the Democrats can come across as the guys who, we're willing to work with you if you're going to be reasonable, but if you're going to turn, the Republican Dwight Eisenhower interstate highway system into nothing but toll roads, if you're going to take all the bridges that were built during FDR's administration and turn them into toll bridges, if you're going to take our broadband infrastructure, if you're going to privatize everything, then yeah, we're going to fight you. So that's the way that I see it going. Charles, thanks for the call. You brought up two really great topics.